maybe some cool questions would be, based, you're obviously the visionary of coffee. You're going to know a lot more about it. I think it'd be cool to give people some insight into, I guess more of the industry. Do you want to explain to people what you're seeing? Because I remember 10 years ago, you couldn't even tell someone what a capsule coffee was. Now obviously it's taken the world by storm. Do you want to talk about kind of what you're seeing, what maybe the growth you're seeing is? Where's the industry going in the next, kind of 10 years?
Sure. So currently the biggest part of the coffee market is still instant coffee. It's still the most accessible for the mass market. It's a simple thing. You don't need a machine to help you along. You get a jar of instant coffee, you put it in a cup, you boil a kettle, and you pour yourself a cup. Now, in South Africa, in the 80s and 90s, instant coffee was the biggest, and you had some filter coffee, like I said, that I grew up on. But to get real espresso style coffee was very rare. You had it in the odd restaurant, and then as that sort of cafe culture started developed in the early 2000s to mid 2000s, people were, with the emergence of Starbucks, etc., people were enjoying going to a cafe and asking for something interesting, an espresso, a latte, a caramel latte. And they realized that coffee wasn't just one type of drink. And I think as people got used to that sort of coffee and realizing they could get exactly what they wanted to bring that experience into their home. The problem with that was to replicate what you were getting in the cafe at home would cost you an absolute fortune. To get a big espresso machine and pour it at home. And even the people that could afford that, they'd buy a machine, and it was difficult to use, and they would end up with something that either it was over extracted, which means it ends up very bitter. That means the water ran for too long through the coffee, or it was under extracted. They didn't let it run for long enough, and they left with like a brown, murky water, which is just a total disappointment. And the emergence of capsules as an option was that every time you ran that capsule, it would be the same. Say, for example, you took the Cafe Lux Gourmet Roast. Every time you pour it through a capsule machine, you're going to get exactly the same extraction. Every time you're going to get the fantastic aroma. And I think that the biggest change was the barrier to entry for people enjoying that sort of coffee at home, the espresso type coffee, was the hardware. The coffee is generally quite affordable. So, when the other espresso machines came on the market and at a few thousand rand to get a great cup of coffee, they were still out of reach for most of the people. And when, I'd say that's where Cafe Lux was interesting. When they launched their machine, it was super competitive, where people had the choice of buying your traditional drip coffee machine or a capsule machine for a similar price. And then people are thinking, wow, so I can get the restaurant style or cafe style coffee at home. And the benefit of that is that they can also have the variety. They can drink the gourmet one day, they can drink the dark roast the next day, they can have a choc hazelnut infused coffee the next day, because you need one capsule to run a coffee. There's no issue. As an example, if you can afford one of the big machines where you put beans in, you put 250 grams of beans of the gourmet roast. You need to run that through however long it takes you before you put in your next variant for your next coffee. Where with capsules, you can change what you drink with every single cup. So I mean, at home here, my wife always makes fun of me. I make coffee 7 different ways at home, which is one of them is capsule coffee. So, I've got my regular bean to cup machine, which we use every day for the convenience. We press that, but I've only got at the moment, yeah, excellent. That's one of the ways. I love it. The great thing about having a capsule machine is that, say, after dinner or something, if you want to have a toasted almond cappuccino, I'd run a toasted almond shot through my capsule machine and just frost some milk and put it on top. So I think that's convenience and the ability of people to go back to your original question, to replicate what they're getting in the cafes, to be able to do it at home affordably, I think was the major change. And just to put into perspective, I mean, from when I was supplying Cafe Lux as a supplier, till today, we've probably brought in close to 300,000 machines into the South African market.
Amazing.